Welcome back to another episode of Through the Customer Lens, where we sit down and we take a look at insurance agency websites from all across the country, and we ask the question, what's it look like through the customer lens? Here in this video, Sean Mulhorn and myself sit down and we take a look at Jackson, Deacon, and Associates. I hope I say that right. And we just want to ask the question, what does this look like if I'm an insurance agency customer or a prospect in the area, and I'm coming to the website for the very first time? What's it look like through the customer lens?
So first off, we can tell they do commercial and personal insurance by showing business and individual. Let's dive in. Let's see what the client can actually do. But let's jump into the quote. Obviously, it's a huge piece of what agencies want to do and requesting a quote. So let's evaluate their quote option. So we've got a little bit more of an advanced form than what we see sometimes. The client can come in, they can select personal or commercial, they can fill out a few bits of information. But what I noticed here is, it's a vehicle quote, and there's no other options besides your basic contact info. So, what this is ultimately going to do from a client perspective is you're requesting a quote. It's going to start an email chain with the agency. However long it takes the agency to get back, the agency is now going to have to go, hey, Nick, we noticed you filled out a quote request. What's my speed to getting the details to start actually getting quotes? And you're going to have to email the client. Who knows how the agency operates? Maybe they send a different tool to collect the information. Maybe they ask for it via email. Maybe they email and say, hey, let's get on a phone call. Maybe they pick up the phone and call. So this is friction to get to the point where you need the data. An ideal scenario would be that the client can go, hey, I need an auto quote. What's the year, make, model of the vehicle, the VIN, what's your driver's license number? What are the details that we need to actually complete this quote? Because when you compare this to how the space is working right now, if I need an auto quote and I see this, likely I'm going to go to Esurance. I'm going to go to Geico.
Right.
I know these companies can get me a quote. I could buy that thing in 15 minutes or less. And so this could be optimized.
Yeah. It's not because they want to leave. It's because we've created so much friction that they almost feel like they have no other choice but to leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm curious, under their resource tab, what other resources are we giving? So maybe can you actually click the resource? Does it actually go to a separate resource page?
It does.
It does. Okay, so we get some other options here. Got a bunch of forms. Again, the make a payment button's still here. There's actually not a lot of other options. So if
it looks like it's more marketing material than anything else.
Yeah. If I wanted to service, if I'm a client, I go, hey, I just bought a car, or hey, I'm buying a car and it's Saturday and I need an ID card.
Yeah.
There's no clear-cut way to pop in to go grab this, to request it, to fill out any details.
If I've got to scroll like this, I might have better luck finding the body of Jimmy Hoffa before I find what I'm looking for. This scroll here, you might as well be on the second page of Google. Because I don't know what people...
I think ultimately what we're driving at here is that if a client needed to come do something right here, ultimately there's going to be frustration, and the button they're going to go click is the contact us up at the top right. They're going to, and then they're going to get another form. And they're probably not filling this out. They're probably now picking up the phone, or they're emailing the info at email. And again, from a client perspective, that's frustrating.
Yeah, think about how upset the customer is. And even if, you're dealing with nice people, you're dealing with kind, nice people, they're not going to yell at you. They're not going to scream at you. Inwardly, they're still pretty frustrated. Like, this is a frustration. And I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to call you. I don't want to have to spend my time researching and fishing for easy ways of doing business when I'm ultimately just going to have to pick up the phone and call you now. And now I'm frustrated. And then, really what that does, the impact is now your team, your CSRs of 5, 10, 3, doesn't matter how big they are, they're spending their time having to deal with this stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're getting frustrated. And that's problematic. And if you think about how much money you're spending on service and how much you're paying your CSRs, this is what you're spending. This is what they're spending their time doing.
Yeah, there's definitely a better way to optimize this.
How might GloveBox be a solution here?
The big one, again, is you curate and you direct traffic into one spot. When you can start to centralize where the requests come in, whether they're service or sales, That's important. So you remove these basic contact forms that ultimately frustrate the client and lead them to email or call you. You put this into a client login. Behind that client login, again, somebody logs in. We now know who they are. We know what policies they've got. We know details about who they are. And then when the client comes in, this becomes a choose your own adventure game. Now, instead of a singular form that says contact us with a drop down of why are you contacting us, or hey, I need a quote on this one thing. Well, now we can actually go a step further. Instead of just hitting submit on I need an auto ID card that puts something in the inbox, or I need to add a vehicle. Well, now the client can go, hey, I need to add a vehicle, for example. Okay, great. Is this personalized? Is this commercialized? Those workflows are different. The data you would want to collect or have the client input is going to be different. And so we can actually walk someone through an intelligent form and collect all the information so that when the client completes these forms, they're essentially done. They've completed everything that the agency would need to complete the request. The agency, by and large, does not need to reach back out to the client to go fill in the gaps on data. And then this can also then be triaged and routed accordingly. So rather than a form that's basic here landing in your inbox, someone looking at that going, okay, let me look up the client, what they needed. Okay, this sort of a request needs to go to this virtual assistant or this CSR or this sales rep. You automatically can do this per client, per service interaction, per quote interaction. So on submission, it's routed directly to who needs to handle it. Whoever needs to handle it at the agency has all the info they need to complete the request. You can get a request done in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, as opposed to what, this basic form is going to translate to, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of now trying to go back and forth with the client, because you're going to call them and they may not pick up the phone. You're going to leave a voicemail, hope they call back. You're going to have a task to remember to call them back or email them.
Yeah. I also think too, lastly, what I'll say here, when you compare this to maybe what they're already using right now, if I had to make some guesses, some educated guesses based on, anecdotal evidence, is, when you make it easy for them to adopt, meaning they don't have to put in a username and password that they're not going to remember, and they don't have to go through that process, then it's easier to implement. And when it's easier to implement, it's easier to adopt and to use, and you see the adoption metrics go way, way, way up. So I don't know what adoption looks like for this particular agency with their current solutions, but we know, based on what we deal with and what we see every single day, that the people who adopt and implement this way of thinking see tremendous adoption, and which equals tremendous results.
And those results translate, in two sides. It's two sides of the same coin. You see better retention, you see more referrals, you see happier customers. And on the agency side, you see more efficient CSRs and sales reps who can handle more. They can handle more than the normal 300 to 500 personal lines households that can handle 600 to 800. Their morale is better because they're not dealing with these frustrating low-level service interactions that really shouldn't be here. So our premise is let's solve the root cause of the efficiency at an agency. Let's route these away from them even coming in. Let's reduce the low-level service tasks that bog everyone down and nobody enjoys. And it's just because that's been the status quo. The status quo has been phone and email, and there is a better way to do things, and that's what we're building. We're building for the way things should be done for the agency and should be done with the policyholder.